Hey everyone, I'm Tassinix, and welcome to Plotting and Scheming. We're covering week 3 here of season 45, 5 versus 5 Grand Arena Championship. I'm here with my two co-hosts, Dagger and TJ. Good evening, guys. How you guys doing? Literally, don't make me call on you.
No, you call my name. You say my name and you say it proud.
Say my name. Say my name.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it was a horrible week. That's why I'm pouting.
All right, that's
0
fair.
and 3
Yeah.
bullshit.
Fuck you.
Bitterness, the bitterness,
Right.
the taste
1
of
and
bitterness.
2 bullshit. Not having time to play Jack again. Fuck bullshit.
That's right. That's right. And you have a grilly hat. That's right, Tass. I said it.
Yeah, it's hateful. It's hateful. It's extraordinarily jealous of you. That's what That's how I choose to interpret that.
Your hat looks like your hat looks like you're about to go to a play later, and some guy's gonna blow your head off.
That's
They
right.
may or may not be with a gun.
Okay, all right.
Or
yeah.
you're from like 1960s Batman.
I'll see you
Mr.
with
Penguin.
the Ford, Dagger says.
He's
Yeah.
the penguin. Penguin.
There it is.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, you damn comedians. Let's get right into it because it was a meat grinder of a week. I myself went 0-3. I lost to Barator by 5. I was up on him going into Fleet by one banner. And then when we each did Profundity versus Executor, and my Executor didn't focus in and blow up his Y-Wing. His did mine, though. And that cost the banners. That basically doomed me.
That's a rough one.
It's you can't control it. So, all right, let's get right into it. What worked this week? So we'll start with Dagger because you didn't have a whole lot of play this week, so I don't imagine this will take too long.
What worked?
Damn.
Well, TJ's going to tell you a similar tale. I was in TW mods this week as well.
Oh, so
God.
not a lot worked at all. Man, you and Heinze just sharing
No,
the
Heinz's
same
was
lot.
worse. Heinz's was worse.
Heinze's was bad. Really bad.
Most of my B team counters worked, but things were unreliable. Like Wampa wasn't an option.
Yeah.
Zam bounty hunters were not an option because Zam wasn't a thing. My Seer team wasn't all that good this week. Gidmay was not usable. Per the conversation Sasha, TJ, and I had, right? Like, so basically, a lot of my tools were taken out of my tool belt, so I was forced to overkill things. So in that essence, almost everything, air quotes, worked. I just was at such a disadvantage. I went 1-1 in the ones I played, and I played Michael in the final round, and let him know up front that, hey, I have my kids' things, and I won't be able to do it tonight, and I have to go to the office tomorrow, so it's unlikely I'll do my attacks. But feel free to have fun. I put a fight in on auto just to get 10 points and moved on with my life. But yeah, pretty much everything worked because it was like SOK versus Lord Vader, JMK versus Afra, right? You know, things like that. It was just go back to the things you know work, regardless of, yeah.
Snap back to reality.
On Malicos that, yeah, you see on Malicos because even my Savage didn't exist this week. That's right. That's another thing that didn't exist.
Man,
he was missing 2 mods.
Yeah, you had yourself a time, didn't you?
Okay, that's a tough one.
That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, TJ, what worked for you this week?
Things that I needed it to work when it did need to work, and then a whole bunch that didn't.
All right, well, we're doing the dids right now.
The dids. So my defense worked. I'll put it like that. My defense was seriously like I shit the bed all over the place because I didn't respect the overkill in the start, and then the next round, what was it? I poopied the Inquisitors versus JMK. So the stuff that worked, Afro was doing fine on Jabba. Phoenix did great on LV. The off metas where I needed them to work were awesome, and doing all the good stuff. Nothing was like standoutish because we're obviously week 3, but it worked, I guess, at the wrong time. And that's where I'll leave that.
For my part, I identified a situation where I needed to risk Phoenix versus Lord Vader for the first time. And it was the full bird Lord Vader, right? Sith ability block, bulk, set 9, Piet, Maul, the works, Thrawn and everything. And we ended up with a 61 on that. First time ever doing it. We lost Chopper. Chopper at Relic 8 was resilient enough to require all 5 pushes to kill. He might have even survived if he were Relic 9, and that is something that I think about now. But that was incredibly impressive, so that worked well. I think week 2 C was working against Seer for me, so that isn't new for me. But yeah, like Dagger, that worked. What else was good? I had another couple of upsets. Let me look. Is the thing still up? Can I still look, or did it close out already? Okay.
You can still review it.
Yeah, no, I got it up on screen here. Seer, what did I? Oh, I'll talk about that fail. That was a good one. What did I do there? Oh, I did Slacker without Watt against Jabba, and that worked. And I was clenching a couple of times. I did a Padme versus Traya, and he even went to the trouble of putting prop primaries on his Nihilus, and we still got it done. So it was that was quite an upset. I enjoyed that one a lot. What was another one? No, we'll talk about that in the failure section. I know that for damn sure. Yes, and this is very rare. This is the only time this season that somebody set Night Sisters against me. Full on Night Sisters, the good composition, the good cron, everything. And Tuscans, we got close to losing a couple, at one point in the fight. And then the dots ticked, everybody stabilized, and people started keeling over. That was really good. I enjoyed that. All right, section 2. Let's head into the abyss, the heart of the meat grinder. What didn't work this week? All right, TJ, you've got a lot to say. Let's have you sound off.
So many things. So I'm going to start with the user error Inquisitors on JMK. There's a user error.
I think we did the same user error, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, you saw it, right? I think you saw my fight, and I got course corrected. So that's not a blame on mods. That was completely my poo-poo that caused the fight off of one misstep, and that brought me down a dark path, which caused my loss for the second round. Round 3, the JML that would have normally worked, Dagger gave me a very safe comp, and I'm going to give props to Dagger. He gave me a very safe comp. I took in less, but because I took in less, meaning I didn't have JKC on it where I needed him, it cost me the Leia fight, and I had nothing to clean up Leia. Everything was just enough, and because the things weren't working like they were supposed to, it was just fail after fail.
So what is it what is the quintessence? What is the reason to always have Jedi Knight Cal with your JML for that anti-Leia purpose?
So it's being able to focus down Leia, and when it's time, you just pop Drogon, and you just move on with your life, and you stay ahead. Watching Dagger's fight and the way he's set up, it's very safe. It's expensive, but even on fail points, right? Even on the fail points, and even on the different level 6s to Dagger, what we're talking about, it's like I lost JKR at one point, but it didn't matter. The fight was already over, so the fact that I lost him didn't hurt me any. But just JKC being able to get in there and on the second move or the third, whatever it is after his 30 stacks, and not having a Drogon to deal with, just puts you at a 5-on-4 by the time and then you're just finishing the fight.
Yeah. Also, ignoring prot and armor shred allowing you to melt the sides fast as well.
And I didn't do that. So what I did is I saw, and this is where this week really hurt me, because I didn't respect the week by not having my GAC stuff. It's whatever, right? That's still my fault. That's what I take it as. But I didn't respect it that way. I watched somebody else do a JML fight without JKC and figured I would replicate that. Modding was not correct for me to do that, and so I disrespected the stuff. and it showed me that I disrespected the stuff to keep it, easy. Other things that didn't work, it was just all over the place, man. Things weren't doing it because, another one that really got me that I just didn't respect. My Zam not having the right mods. So I took what would always work would be a bounty hunter fight with Zam just to get the speed up. Well, if Zam don't have mods, then you don't have a Zam. And Tuscans got beat, so I lost that one. It was just all week, man. It was just a bad week, and I paid the price for it.
The blood price.
Oh, horrible, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, Dagger. What is your confession from the pit?
Similar to what TJ said, anything that had a Gakomi wasn't modded right. And in some cases was missing mods. My Zam was missing an arrow. Because in my TW, when I have like a small switch between GAC and TW because it's not a lot of different characters, but it's enough.
Yeah.
It's not a huge flip, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I had to remod manually for the Call Empire War.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't backfill. Or I forgot, or I didn't have a chance to go back and swap everything back before lock.
Yeah.
Because we got the, well, for those of you guys in the top guilds, you generally don't get your mod specs until it's like approaching the wire. Sometimes. So got those in at least. Yeah, so as far as things that didn't work, my defense. I couldn't set Qui-Gon because like no one was fast. My Zori team was not very fast or very punchy.
So people just ran through all week.
Yeah, basically, if you had a Gakomi, the mods on it were average, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not blaming anything on that because I obviously could have played better, pinched some banners.
Yeah, did you have any attacks? Did you have any attacks fail that you were counting on?
No, I didn't. Not that I was like, oh man, this is gonna work. Like I tried Afra versus C with Savage.
Yeah,
and had to 2-shot it. But like it wasn't like I was like, oh, this is gonna work, right? It's just like I hope this works, and it killed Savage.
Yeah, that's not bad for sure.
But then I just lost to C because when C zaps you don't come back.
It's true. He doesn't. Yeah, it's true.
Oh, I timed out on Lord Vader because I need to. It doesn't matter now, but I learned earlier this month that you don't need Armorer to beat SLK for SLK to beat Lord Vader. But I keep taking it as a safety valve, and twice this month I came close to timing out, and I finally timed out because Armorer and Watt didn't die.
Yeah, I can't tell you how long it's been since I used both Armor and Watt. I have used one or the other or neither, but it's been a while since I've used both now. Yeah,
for me it's just a being extra safe thing. And just this week, this last round, I think I told you, 435% defense. I needed one of them to die.
Yeah.
I needed one of them to die, and they didn't.
I feel you.
But yeah, basically, had the Empire versus Leviathan be very much of a dickhead to me this week.
Ooh, yeah, what happened?
What? Oh, they came in, they stunned Iden, then swarmed Iden, so I had to clean up.
Mm-hmm.
That was just like the story of my week.
Sorry to hear it, man.
I'm going to say samesies. I think Dagger and I were in a very same boat. He's like, this happened. I was like, no, mine was worse. This happened. It was hold my beer echoes of woe.
TJ
as we talked about
one-upping me. Yeah, TJ couldn't help one-upping me this week on the fleet travesties.
Yeah, I was not happy because I've never had it happen either, which made this work. That's where Dagger is 100% right because I've never had this happen, and this was the one where it was. I had never seen anything that bad towards like phone throwing bad of a fleet. It was.
So I was in the third bracket, so I was going to be struggle bus regardless. So I'm not over here trying to make any excuses for anything. But it was just a week that was very forgettable on many levels for me.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll regroup and try to make the most out of 3v3. I fucking hate 3v3.
All right. We'll see how it goes. For my own part, as far as things that didn't work that I wanted to work or I thought were going to work, I had my very first fail with Afra versus Jabba. Very first fail ever. And the cron was challenging, but it wasn't like radically different from things that I'd beaten before. I think the issue was I had set like this cron that has like a relatively large amount of crit damage, like 90 something percent, but also like 200 something percent armor pen. And I set that with gas, set 10 gas on defense. And that cron, I think would have been the punchy difference that I needed, because I took one that had 318% armor penetration, something thereabouts. And I thought the armor penetration would have done just fine because they had something in the neighborhood of 300% defense. So figuring that, robust stats through the mods otherwise were going to carry the day, it did not carry the day. We didn't lose anyone in the fight until just before Jabba's ultimate. We had BT1 keel over from thermals. And then Jabba ate Afra, and that was like, yeah, okay, so we'll back out. So that was a rare fail. I tried Night Sisters with a set 9 bulk against Seer. Now, I knew I was doing it completely optionally, but I wanted to see how it went. And I was keeping in mind, I know what Dagger had shared with us last time, was, you're holding your dispels for when people are having DI. And the DI wasn't coming so quickly, so I was holding that cooldown. I want to say his fifth brother's first turn I used third, and then his second turn I used basic, and he didn't get a third turn. But nobody had DI to dispel, so it felt like I was waiting to pull it off in a way that it didn't come, at least not in the way that I expected it. So hold on. Let me finish the story.
Sorry.
Damn it!
Sorry. God damn it!
So
I was just gonna try and help. I'll stop.
So I was thinking, wow, you know what? Next time Fifth Brother gets a turn, I'm just gonna chuck the dispel and just start, working it through and seeing what happened. And then, their triple Omi Malicos literally deleted the entire team. Now, this was probably his third set of turns. You know how he takes like a couple turns every time he goes. So I'd say it's probably his third set of turns. But it was like one hit, and it took like all the protection off Reva. I was like, okay, it was a decent hit, but we didn't really get into the health. I'm gonna be fine. Did whatever his rock throwing one is, and the whole team was just gonzoed. The whole team in one. Everybody else was like relatively topped off. Just the entire team fucking gonzoed. So I very much could believe that there was probably a better way to have, went about that fight, pursued that fight. But for the small sample size of it, man, that was ugly, because I thought that I was in a stable position to continue the fight. This is maybe only like a minute and a half into the fight. And then it was like, just no, all of you are just gone now. So it was horrible. All right, now you can talk, Derek.
Oh, I was going to say, he flips heal immunity into DI.
Yeah, okay, well,
so you can play around that by not using the Reva AoE. So then you can just play normally.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Yeah, well, it was ugly, and then what did I do to clean that up? I think I used just C-Sith. I want to say something of that order. He didn't have Malgus on defense, that guy, so that was different. Didn't have any issues with that. What else didn't work for me? I already talked about the Jabba. Everything was clean up here. Man, I almost had my first Mother Talzin versus Finn fall through for me. Almost happened, where we already had the 2 zombie resurrects pulled out, and then they went one person killed Mother Talzin. Next one stunned Daka. Then they bursted down Marin. Then they bursted down Daka. It was Asajj and Zombie standing. And I, managed a couple basics there. Picked my target. Was able to bring back Marin. And we had Marin down under stealth. She would have resurrected someone else there to finish the fight. But then that last person keeled over and we finished with like 50-something banners. It was gruesome on banners. But I was just lucky enough it was a one-shot. But you want to talk about near miss. That was awful. Leia, man, I had... So I think that's another situation where I just needed to have, I don't know, probably more armor penetration or something on the Kron for JML. Because, quite honestly, we were not doing enough damage to Leia. Like, we didn't start losing people until after the third direct focus from JKR. So, I mean, all of that rotation of turns and everything. And still, she had lived. So, that was nasty. I did smite Drogon with my Jedi Cal, to your point, TJ. But, when she ultimated and somebody did die from that, he came right back. So that was a mess. How did I go about it after that? I went in with Jabba next on Leia. And I think I took out, I want to say Drogon and R2. So it was just Leia and 2 tanks, I think. Then I threw in Starkiller, and Starkiller was... And I'm saving my dispels and stuff, so I'm not being inefficient when I go to drop the Star Destroyer on everything. But Starkiller was still able to only kill the tanks, and then people were so wounded, and she was just about at ultimate that it was like I can't risk somebody getting chipped off by ultimate and then both the tanks coming back. So I had to let that time out. And then I cleaned up Leia, and you're going to love the irony of this, guys. This will amuse you. Solo Leia took down with Ewoks. Nothing from you guys? Damn.
That's fair. It's like Ewok. You can't slam Ewoks right now. You just can't. And it's like Mon Mothma on Jabba. You're just going to get a million turns and just pile it in. There's just nothing you're going to do.
It was fun. It was fun. Yeah. It was an enjoyable.
I'm going to be honest. You talked for a long time, and I tuned out.
Well, that's why I wait for you guys to go first, so I can get my thoughts out all at once like that.
That's right. That's right.
But Rogue One.
Right.
I just wanted to also say that I've been used to having bays with my Rogue One for going against something like Iden. Didn't need that. Didn't need bays there, so I felt good without that. Against particularly Iden, not saying against something like Ariba, but as far as fails go, I'd say that's about it. The other fails that happen were fails that sometimes happen, so not too worried about that. All right, section 3, standout defenses. Dagger, what was good for you this week?
Ray Cat's still good.
Ray Cat, yeah. Okay, fair. Any other outstanding ones? Anybody pulling oversized weight for you? Not this week with the shit modding.
Well, I mean, Jabba got 2-shot a couple of times, but people, for some reason, keep trying that 20% Night Sister counter. Like, I know TJ has tried it before, and I know people can win, but
yeah,
I have not. Yeah, if you're gonna, I'll take it. Right? Like,
yeah, no, I feel it.
Go for it.
I feel that. I do. TJ, outstanding defenses for you this week?
Leia's a monster, as it was for you and as everybody else. Man, Leia, I'm telling you, man, my defense was so on point that it was the either not giving something enough respect, something like that lost me the match. Like, went in, it was perfect. That people were dropping left and right all over stuff. It was LVs were dropping things. The Ray Cat, thanks to Dagger, that was a great one. That really surprised the the setup, but then that also cost me because I was not giving enough respect to Ray, which I shouldn't have lost. But yeah, I mean, overall, Leia, I think, is going to be the standout. And Dagger has called it out, and I think it's a very good statement, right? It's going to get figured out, and it's going to be stopped, right? There's nothing not stopping that from happening.
No king
But
rules
for now,
forever.
Well, she's also going to have a cron. She's also going to have a cron for 4 months, so she's going to be having inflated worth on defense.
But with this bulk, man, Leia was just a monster. And if you had her putting her on defense, like I talked to Rockstar, and Rockstar was damn near going to stop. Had Cal Kestis, great player, again, another great one. Again, Leia was a monster for him. So this is the NTW modding, whatever it was.
Yeah. Nice.
Just horrendously good setup, as you see with your setup. It's just awesome.
Oh yeah. No, that definitely proved to be a red herring from CG. They're like, oh, we don't really expect this team to do a lot on defense. It's just like, yeah, all right, well,
Well, here, right. but just so you know, without the bulk cron, it gets beaten by a lot more. Like
JKR. For sure.
Yeah.
Like with no bulk cron, JKR, like JKL, Cal beats.
But I hear Reba can also beat it too. Yeah, in that circumstance.
Yes, but I have to just preface with what Dagger's saying, so I don't close up my thing. Is that he's 100% right, but you didn't need much bulk, which was, I think, extremely cool. I think Dagger, we came up to 150 to 180% defense, so just average. With some great health and offense, and you were ready to rock and roll. It didn't require a lot, but it did a lot.
All right, fair.
Yeah, I strongly believe, like, just looking at the mechanics of the Leia team and kind of how it functions without, like, if you put it with set 10, right? Kind of seeing how that kind of functioned.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it was weak on defense, but it felt more like C or SOKR. Now, the Boltron really propped it up, and now her actual level 9, or Drogon's level 9, I think looks better on paper personally. We'll talk about that in the next video. But she's going to be propped up by a Datacron for the next 4 months. So yes, she's going to be excellent on defense for the first 5 months of her being in this game. And then we'll have to reevaluate in a little over 4 months whether we think she'll be good on defense. So I think CG's going to end up being correct, but it's just going to be a while till they...
Holy crap, you realize 4 months from now is February? What a trip.
I don't want to talk about it. You shut your mouth.
Right. Damn. But I think Dagger is like 100% spot on. 100%.
All right.
But C's bad on defense, and he does okay. I'm just saying.
Okay, fair. Yeah, no, C routinely catches people out, so I absolutely believe that.
Was it okay? So I have to counter this. Was it C or was it the Datacron on C that was catching people out? Because
I'm saying that people would play C without the Boltron and without the Sith Crons of set 3. I'm saying that C occasionally just lands on defense anyways, and it's not.
Oh yeah.
Right. I'm just saying Leia will probably fall into that category where she probably gets used on offense 3/4 of the time after February. But anyway,
I'd have to agree. But yeah, I can see what you're saying.
So other standout defenses for me, so we don't stay too long in this section. Let me think about it. Yeah, I mean, Tarful did great for me this week. Not for round 3 here, but like this week overall, it got holds. That Tarful with the Hondo over there was just the heart of a champion. I snuck in a trench. I didn't get anything. I did my own Ray Cat there in the back because this opponent has been holding Ray all season for the mirror, and this is a much more challenging mirror, and indeed, he had to clean it up. It was Ray surviving with half health, so nothing that Mom Mothma couldn't manage, but, nice. It would have been I had very high confidence it would have been a one-shot for him otherwise. Fleet-wise, I didn't have anybody really just, mess themselves up on Fleet. So nothing really to mention there, I guess. All right. This next section here is usually takeaways for next week. Obviously, we're at the end of 5, so we're going to think about the lessons learned that we can apply here for the start of next 5s. At least in terms of like how we're thinking about week one, round one, because it's a little early yet. We're not terribly familiar with this new Datacron set that we are just now starting to earn. Today, the day of this recording here is the start of Conquest for set 11.
And it's bugged, yay!
Yes, and it is bugged, but c'est la vie. Regardless, what are we, taking away from this week and thinking about for the start of the next 5 season? Or because we'll talk about the next 3 season here in our next episode. That's for our gap week. So I'll mention that again and explain a little bit more about it to the good folks here when we're at the end of the video. But bottom line is here, we're thinking about 5s here, end of 5s, thinking about next 5s. I'll go first here, just because I had a couple of thoughts that you guys might be able to jump off of. Set 10 is going to make probably Lord Vader and Jabba things of the past on defense for the until set 10 is gone, probably. Maybe not. Maybe not Lord Vader, because, well, actually, no. Without the benefit of set 9, I really think Lord Vader's going to go down pretty easy. I don't have any experience using it against Jabba. Maybe you guys have some commentary to add on that, but it feels like, Jabba is a good answer to a couple things on offense. It does a fine job on Rey once you have some practice. I have decent confidence with some practice, especially with some more offensive stats on the Jabba team from a new Datacron set. I feel like that can be used against Leia effectively. So I think that those two guys who have been stalwarts on defense are probably rotating off for me. And I think it's going to be less. This has been the reign of the super team with set 9, right? So I've been more accustomed than usual to stack that bottom front wall with GLs and let the Boltkrons do their magic, and whatever survives that process they can take against the other walls, right? So I think probably as a board strategy shift, maybe more, A-tier teams, not S-tier, not Galactic Legend tier, but more A-tier teams up front, start pocketing more GLs in the back like seasons of old. Dagger, any thoughts? Preparing for next 5s?
Yeah, I think you bring up a few fair points. I think we will have to reevaluate a lot of the teams that we set. For example, I know we talked about Tarful feels solved. And I'm not saying it's bad, right? I'm just saying, like, what you were saying about setting less GLs means we're going to be putting more B teams on defense, which means Tarful likely gets pulled off simply because more things like CLS get put down. I think that it's unlikely. I think it's highly likely people continue to place things like Lord Vader and Jabba on defense because they're low banners to beat. Right? There's very few good banner counters. And while I agree that the meta is going to shift, I think it's going to shift more towards efficiency. So because everyone's going to be able to full clear everyone where we're at, there's not really much you can do to stop that. I think it's going to be more. There's going to be a lot more emphasis on how can you strip banners from your opponents. So I think we're going to see more teams like that down. I also think that we should all kind of get ready for Imperial Troopers are going to get Datacrons, and we don't know which ones of those are going to be good. So do a little bit of follow your TWs relatively closely. I know some of us in this chat don't remember counters that they use in TW. So I think there's going to be a lot of learning going on between now and 5v5, but I really think that we're moving towards an efficiency meta.
Yeah, that's less interesting, but yeah, the pendulum swings as it will.
Yeah, and I think that we're going to start seeing more GLs on defense simply because they snipe banners and because we have so many off counters. Cass brought up a good point about Lord Vader. I think it depends on what they do with Imperial Super Commando. But if Imperial Super Commando if he only gets a slight, if he doesn't get tweaked or only gets a slight tweak, I heavily suspect Lord Vader's going to be on offense next 5v5 because Mando's just going to be killing shit. So I think that's worth looking at too. I think next month we're going to see a lot more SLK on defense too. If JML, Cal, JKL still continues to be the best counter to this Leia team.
Yes, that's a good observation. And I've been waiting to see when the meta would swing back for a slacker to be on defense. But you're absolutely right about that. I had thought about that. I can't believe I forgot it, but that is an excellent point because I was thinking the other day, man, Leia on defense is just, if it's a guaranteed draw for JML, I'm going to be seeing a lot more slackers going down the road. You're right about that.
So anyways, just a couple ideas and food for thought there. Also, remember if SOK's on defense, Lord Vader solos it, so there's always going to be that cat and mouse game too.
Yeah, that's an actual fun fight though. I enjoy that fight because if you don't manage it just right, you get blowed out late game.
Yeah,
That's
again,
fair.
I think we're going to be getting to. I think next 5 is going to be a lot of fun because of the possibilities. So those people like TJ who like to place the house, they're going to have a lot less fun because they won't get to see any big numbers on defense.
Fair.
All
right, TJ, what are you thinking about here for the next 5s?
I think what we're going to see is a lot of the construct of the teams change. That doesn't mean the teams change. Hopefully that makes sense. SLK on defense makes sense. The one piece that still rings true, Ufu hits a lot of houses. It goes into a lot of different areas. That's dark and light. So I think we're gonna see a lot of constructs change. I can see the Lord Vader being on defense just fine. Right, because high defense.
Give a specific what type
or
of
offense.
change.
So think about this. You go Ufu, you're gonna go. You could do a full Ufu setup of saying back to Lord Vader, Maul, and crew. You can do SOK, crew, and another team. I think there's going to be a lot of constructs of teams that are going to change the way we see the defense set up. I think the Leia draw for S and then SOK I think is a great one. But in that, I think it's going to. I think these crons are really going to mess with people. Everybody's so reliant on the bulk and the way it was set up. People were doubting set 10, and I know myself. I know Dagger. There was just you're right. There was a lot of praise, right? We kept telling people you're underestimating what this Datacron is, and I'm telling you, this is bringing back all of your dark side is coming back. We're getting Imperial Troopers back. We're getting all these pieces that people aren't thinking about right now. And this set is what I would call it's the Swiss Army knife. There's so many ways that this set works in so many different directions that I think people aren't seeing all of it. I think that week 1 of 3s we could talk about later, and even into 5s is going to be wild combos. The pieces are going to work together. That's what I expect to see, and I think it's going to catch a lot of people off guard.
All right, fair enough. I think that's actually pretty interesting, thinking about like Malicos with a slacker team, something like that. I expect I would see a few weird things like that next go round. All right, that's fair. So we're through what we're thinking about here for 5s. For closing thoughts, my last thing here to say is, so next week we'll put out a video that will be our thoughts on the upcoming 3 season, where we will go in detail on, in as much as we can, because we always keep a couple things secret, because we fight esteemed players who are observant, and somebody's watching this on YouTube, so I gotta assume it's some of them, and you have to keep some of the secret sauce. Regardless, though, we'll cover the broad strokes of what we're thinking about with this new Datacron set, general board strategy changes going into 3s from the previous season, the type of good stuff, and anything else that'll come to mind. We usually have that one run about an hour, so that one's a good one to chill and listen to. That's it for me. Dagger, final thoughts from you for the good people?
I'll give my usual MLK quote, but let me just say I'm glad that Bulk's reign of terror is over. I'm ready for things to explode.
Yes, things are going to be much more fragile now. Very fair. Very fair. TJ, final thoughts for the people.
It's time for MacGyver. I say shit's gonna get wild from Team Concepts, and I'm for a theory crafter. That's an exciting time. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'll be keeping my eyes out. There's a lot it's. Remember what we said about this? I think we said this when Set 9 was fresh on the scene. Was can you imagine the disruption in the game when this set expires?
Yes. Yes. I don't know if it made it on one of our videos, but I know you and I have had that conversation a couple of times, and TJ too, where it's like, man, we are going to be so spoiled by everything just falling over after this is gone.
Yeah. You're right. All right. Well, as always, thank you for your time, gentlemen. Appreciate you making yourselves available. For all of our patrons, this will be up first thing in the morning here on YouTube. For all of our other followers here on YouTube, this video will be live on Friday. Until next time, it's been real. It's been awesome. It's been real awesome. Take care.